mentioned this before on the show, and it's very strange, isn't it? Because as the time of the cost of living situation makes it even harder to simply enjoy yourself. I don't know if you've heard this, but over here now, we're going to be banned from smoking outside places like this. And of course, any other areas that in fact the government find unacceptable. Talk about a nanny state. I can't see how that would work myself, but there you go. But times are difficult, aren't they? Where you spend your money is really important because every penny matters. So if you have a night at the cinema or even a local event, you have to think, how much is that? How much could I spend? And particularly when you go into somewhere like theatre, whether it be Broadway or the own sort of particular area in your part of the world, the professionals that really you have to pay quite a lot to see. It's very difficult to get an audience in this particular climate. Moving forward, even harder when you actually ask them to part with their money and then, of course, like the production. Everybody now is a critic, you know. Many people can come out and slate a show like that with all of their thousands of followers on Instagram or Twitter, whatever it might be. So it doesn't really need much help from other people, particularly the people that are creating the show, people like this, Sir Elton John, to make it harder to get an audience in. Let me explain. Good to see you today. Thank you so much as ever for your time. Now, I don't know about you, the last time I went to the theatre, genuinely it was a free press ticket. And I'm glad about that, if I'm honest. I was there to review the show and I was very gracious about it. It wasn't my cup of tea, but you shouldn't say negative things because obviously people need jobs. That could be anybody from selling drinks in the bar to the ice cream lady, whatever, you know, you have to think it's a business. But it's interesting because, as I said, there's a bigger menace now in the West End and in entertainment in general. And this is all down to the celebrities. You see, a while ago, I got an email through about would I be interested in being a theatrical angel for the brand new musical, The Devil Wears Prada, based on the movie starring, of course, the brilliant Meryl Streep in the role of Miranda Priestley. Now, it did very well. A musical, yes, you've got to say, risky area. Could it do the same thing? It's now going to be opening at the Dominion Theatre, a wonderful 2,000-seat theatre at the top end of Tottenham Court Road, a place where so many big names have played, including the legendary Judy Garland. So much so, a room is named after her at the theatre. So what's the problem? Well, you see, the problem is this. It's about show business mixing with politics. And the likes of Sir Elton John, who recently, as I pointed out, came out on camera and said that we all need to vote for change, basically dumping that current government and then, of course, placing in the new government that we've got, which has been so far something of a catastrophe. It doesn't matter what party you're from, as I've said, Lib Dems, whatever, but celebrities attaching themselves is a huge problem. Now, moving forward, another man also who's trying to fill theatres with a one-man show for an audience with, evening with, that sort of stuff. Well, it's interesting to note, isn't it, that he too got political on social media. And I pointed this out and said you will lose a good percentage of your audience. They remain quiet. He also has a brand new TV show on the commercial channel. Is that doing well? No. Is that reflective of exactly their political beliefs placed out there in the public domain? Remains to be seen. As for The Devil Wears Prada, it stars the brilliant Vanessa Williams from, of course, the wonderful hit show Ugly Betty. You wouldn't get away with that now, would you? And what a superb singer, beautiful lady, and of course, just all-round great entertainer. She should be able to pull people through the door. However, when Elton John, he's now having a backlash in the media for supporting publicly that political movement, well, this could be very reflective of that particular musical. And it goes back to what I was saying. I simply couldn't afford to back a musical like that. But the bottom line is, when they're asking you, would you be interested, proves there's problems already. And the bottom line is, the likes of Sir Elton John are not making things any easier. Neil Sean in the very heart of London.